What's going on, Browns fans? Welcome into the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Matthew Peterson. Today, we're going to talk about two kind of bummer of a stories. Malik McDowell, if you missed that, he got arrested for something that's not something you should ever do. And then is there some remorse over letting Odell Beckham Jr. kind of walk out the door / cutting him? So some Browns players who were pretty active on Twitter last night when the Rams were torching the Cardinals, so we'll check that out. But let's get into the first story of today's show. Malik McDowell, well, coming from the Sun Sentinel, a news agency, a news outlet in South Florida, tweeted out, NFL player Malik McDowell arrested on charges of public exposure and beating a deputy. That's not good. That's my one-word reaction, not good. So Malik McDowell, let's get to the notes about this arrest here and look at some of the details. So he was arrested after walking into a children's learning center naked. Yeah, you read that right. He walked in naked, and then it gets worse. He violently, that was the word used to describe, attacked a deputy who came to the scene. Now, the worst kicker of all, well, not the worst, there's a lot of bad things here, but it's unlikely that Malik McDowell is going to return to the Browns after this. He was going to hit free agency, and I don't know if the Browns are in the market for someone who can't come within 500 feet of a Chuck E. Cheese. So Malik McDowell likely not going to be back with the Cleveland Browns next season. The Browns released this statement. We are aware of the very concerning incident and arrest involving Malik McDowell and are in the process of gathering more information. We understand the severity of this matter and our thoughts are for the well-being of all involved. No further comment at this time. That's the last sentence is the best part, right? I mean, we are hoping that understand the severity of those people who are involved. No one ever wants to see that. That is awful. That is just bad, okay? Bad, horrible. You can pick whatever adjective you want, go to the thesaurus, and figure out a bad one because that's what this incident is. But it's also more awful than just one way. Malik McDowell is a kind of a comeback story. I think everyone in America is always rooting for a good comeback and someone getting a second chance and then making the most of that second chance. And that's what Malik McDowell was. He was a second-round draft pick by the Seahawks in 2017. Never played a snap for Seattle, just couldn't get out of his own way when it came to the law. And then the Browns give him that second chance this season, and he shines. He balls out. He had a great season for what people were expecting out of him. He was a starter all year. He was the best interior defensive lineman, and he just blew his second chance away. I don't see him getting a third chance. This is the NFL. This is kind of the land of, different opportunities one after another because look at Josh Gordon. He gets chance after chance. So if you've got talent, most likely you're going to get another shot, but that was just one season for McDowell. I don't know if he's got enough to build on from that one season. Guys, make sure you are subscribed to the Cleveland Browns Report here on Chat Sports because we're putting out news and rumors content all off-season long. So if you're looking for a spot to get Browns content throughout the entire off-season, well, this is the place to do it. So make sure you hit that big red button, subscribe. Help us reach 4,500 subscribers. We're on the road to doing it. Hit that big red button and be the 4,500 subscriber. Looking at some McDowell stats, though, from this past season. He had 3 sacks. Had a fumble recovery. I think that came in the Chargers game. A big fumble recovery right before the end of the first half to set up a big field goal. Should have been a touchdown, talking to you, Stefanski. But all in all, very successful season for McDowell. And then you look at the depth chart here for the Browns at the defensive line. I see a bunch of asterisks, and those are asterisks indicating upcoming free agents. 3 out of the 4 starters on the defensive line are going to hit free agency. So Andrew Berry will have a lot of work to do to kind of retool that. Hopefully Clowney can come back, but I'm guessing both Maliks are not going to come back. One because Jackson just older and didn't get much productivity, and McDowell because of what he did today. So a lot to happen there. But with this in mind, what do you think the bigger need is for the Cleveland Browns this offseason, whether it's in the draft or in free agency? Is it wide receiver? It sure was, in my opinion, a week ago, but now you've got this kind of coming at you, so maybe you can make an argument for defensive tackle. Let me know in the comments section. This is the pinned comment, so if a YouTube ad break comes on by, use that as a chance to go down and get your votes in. Andrew Berry has a lot of homework to do this offseason. The offense on the wide receiver group needs to be improved, and now you can add defensive tackle to the laundry list. I put out a Browns draft targets a couple days ago. I'll put that link to it in the comments and description, but I slipped in Jordan Davis, the defensive tackle from Georgia. It's kind of an honorary one because I think the Browns should draft a wide receiver in the first round at 13th overall. But maybe now you can make a bigger push if the Browns make a big free agent signing and bring in Michael Gallup or Allen Robinson. Now they can focus their attention to Jordan Davis. Maybe a bit of a reach at 13, but you need someone to clog up the middle of the interior defensive line, and it's not going to be a Malik, so got to find it anywhere. Got to find it somewhere. Switching gears, let's get to the rumor side of today's show. Let's talk about Odell Beckham. A name we haven't mentioned in a long time on the show, and understandably so. He's been with the LA Rams, but he's been doing a lot with the Rams. In fact, he's been doing more with the Rams than he did with the Browns. I've got the stats here of his time with Cleveland this season in his 6 games as a Cleveland Brown, and then now 9 games with the LA Rams, and he has just dominated with the Rams. He's been with the Rams. He's done with the Rams what everyone wanted him to do with the Browns. There's no other way around it. You cannot spin zone this. You can't even really chalk it up to quarterback, because it's not like Matthew Stafford's been playing at an MVP level. Sure, he played better than Baker did, but it's not like Stafford's been lighting the world on fire. 6 touchdowns for OBJ in LA, 0 with the Browns this season. But guys, before we get to our next story, make sure you do all of your betting this postseason with our friends over at BetUS. They got a great deal going on. When you go to chatsports.com/bet and use the promo code Browns125, you get hooked up with a 125% deposit bonus. Want to sprinkle some of that money on the divisional round? Well, here are the odds right now over at BetUS. I like the Niners +6. I think 6 points is a lot for a Niners team that just went on the road and beat the crap out of the Cowboys. And a little bit of a rest versus rust debate for the Packers. Plus, Green Bay isn't always that great at home in the postseason. Other ones I like the Bills +2.5. I think they're just going to win that one outright. But those are the odds right there. You've heard my takes. You heard my lockiest locks of Lockland. What are your biggest locks this week? And give it to me in the comment section. If I like it, I'll ride with it, because I was pretty bad last week. So maybe I'm going to fade myself and just roll with whatever you're thinking this weekend. Let me know down below. Getting back to Odell Beckham, he got a lot of support from some former teammates in Cleveland on Twitter last night when the Rams were just toasting the Cardinals. Jarvis Landry, he puts this out and he goes, the eye emojis, the dart emoji, and he can pass. Yeah, by the way, Odell better than Kyler Murray yesterday. How about that? Who had that as a prop? Greg Newsome also put this out. Just a simple OBJ. But I think it's interesting, just looking at the compare and contrast a little bit. You've got Jarvis Landry, right, a best friend, wide receiver, fellow wide receiver at the Browns, tweeting this out. And then you got a rookie corner. So a rookie, and on the other side of the football, and someone that went up against OBJ a ton. And then you've got just kind of smaller name-ish players, right? Mofat, he also tweets this out, going at OBJ time and time again. I think it's just worth kind of reading maybe a little bit too much into it. But 3 different players, and those are just 3 players. Plenty more were active on Twitter too, from different backgrounds on the Browns roster, all coming in to support their guy, Odell Beckham Jr. So I'm not sure if this is something you want to read too much into, but I think it's a blow to Team Baker, right? It has to be. Baker, Stefanski, Barry. I don't know if all 3 of them were on the same page of we need to move on from Odell after Odell Beckham Sr. put out an 11-minute hit piece basically on Baker Mayfield sucking as a quarterback. I don't know if Baker pushed Barry and Stefanski's hands, or if Baker said, hey, I'll step out of this. You guys do what you think is best. But regardless, this is bad looks. This is bad PR for Baker, right? This has to be that his whole team is rallying around the guy that kind of bullied him a little bit. It's not good. That's the takeaway. It can't be good right now. But with that being said, do you wish the Browns kept Odell Beckham? Give me a Y for yes or an N for no. Let me know if you wish you got a little bit of remorse, or I got plenty of Browns fans, and somewhat understandably so at the time, were like, no, get him out. I'll help pack his bags. I'll load up the car. Let's get him out of Cleveland. I think the takeaway is the Browns will look back at this and go and say, we left a Ferrari in the garage. That's Odell Beckham Jr. He's a very explosive player. Maybe he can be a little bit inconsistent or hit and miss at times, but the big takeaway is you left a player like Odell Beckham Jr. with a run blocking scheme. I mean, you're paying him $15 million, and he's out there putting out great blocks, but you don't pay someone that much money to be a good run blocker. So you left a Ferrari. I mean, this is my Colin Coward in the garage, and you never used him to his full capabilities, and that's a black eye for Stefanski, Mayfield, and kind of Barry too, I guess, a little bit of not fully utilizing all of Odell Beckham Jr.'s strengths. If you haven't already, hit that big red button, subscribe. Like I said, we're on the road to 4,500 subscribers, so help us get there by joining the channel. If you love the Cleveland Browns, this is the spot for you. So hit that big red button and get the latest Browns news and rumors all off season long, and hopefully we'll get out with some better news and rumors tomorrow.